All right, then. Let's go ahead and get on to the next fight. So I see we got a little bit of a change up here, Solly.
Yeah, so we're gonna have EnerTayner subbing in for Vitality. I have not heard from Vitality tonight, so and he's on Do Not Disturb, so we're gonna sub him out.
All right, let me go ahead and make that change
options.
there. So we just had Ovoid. It's Dio versus EnerTayner.
Yes.
All right, just drop that in there with the change. Let me see if I can update the graphics real quick, and just give me a moment here, chat. Shout outs again to all you guys who are jumping in. Let's go ahead and see if I can make sure that this works properly. It does take a bit of a moment to make these adjustments on the fly, but the good thing about this one is that the EnerTayner is one of our registered boxers. I'd like to remind everybody that if you want to become a registered boxer here for the channel, right, it's easier for us to get you in because we already have your information, and right now we've got EnerTayner locked in. So the tape of the tape, we got your boy Dio Hendricks in the blue corner taking on EnerTayner in the red corner. Both of these boxers are fighting now. EnerTayner coming in as a sub, so we got a room scale versus stationary battle. You already know room scale, depending on the size, has the advantage of being able to move more freely, move more faster, get out of the way. Stationary, however, uses less energy, right? They can stand with their feet planted firmly. They can get a lot more power. They never can be caught off angle, right? So Dio fighting out of an unknown region, EnerTayner fighting by way of North America East. Both boxers, however, around the same height. EnerTayner usually the smaller fighter in all of his matches, but Dio, the shortest, I believe one of the shortest fighters that we have, at 5'4", taking on EnerTayner at 5'5". Dio, brand new to this game. Shout outs to Dio. He is our Dragon Fist tournament winner. He decided to take on VR boxing as a new game, jumped into the first match he had and absolutely got blown out of the water, said it was a completely different game, but has been trying to fight every day and learn how to play this game. So this time we're going to see how well Dio Hendricks has evolved. He's coming in the unranked to 1500 range. He told me, hey, Supa, I'm getting better. EnerTayner, 1501 to 2000 elo, a little bit of a veteran, been rocking with RingsideVR since the beginning. So EnerTayner making his way back into the ring right now. Dio affiliated with a gym. So after this, we're going to ask Dio if he definitely wants to join a gym. Of course, EnerTayner repping that BY boxing, and we're about to get on to this fight.
Seconds out.
Yeah, and it should be a good one. Honestly, like we say all the time, and we said it earlier tonight, ELOs don't make fights. It's all about styles. And I love when I know someone comes from another game, because you know they're bringing in some of that style. And they've got it, you know, like a wealth of experience, but there's just like a little bit of a barrier, you know, between it. And you can always, you know, it's interesting to see if they can break through that and glean some, transfer some of that knowledge.
Oh, absolutely, man. And what's interesting, too, so like I said, Dio's coming from Dragon Fist VR. Shout outs to Dragon Fist VR streams on Saturdays. And so, you know, in this game, a lot of people see this and they're thinking, oh, it's going to be easy to play. But this game is very hard on how exactly it wants you to throw these fights. We're seeing a different Dio right out the gate, a little bit more measured, not running in. He has a lot of caution in the experience that he's gained getting knocked out by these experienced VR boxers. EnerTayner, though, showing some respect early on, testing the waters, trying to get that range, and we're seeing like a little bit of a southpaw versus orthodox style here, which is something we don't get to see very often in VR boxing.
Mm-hmm. And it's also good too, right, when two fighters actually stick to something like more, you know, more standard in boxing, and you actually can, you know, see how this plays out. Because right now, you know, the strategy is the same way that you would deal with this in a real boxing match, right? Get around the guard, get around the angles. You know, you don't really have that like foot dominance or that, you know, the physical pressure of bumping up against each other. But it is something to realize, like you might, you know, be in for more clinches, for example.
Oh, 100%. And already now EnerTayner showing that experience here. Even though he's measuring up his opponent in Dio, showing a lot of respect, he has those combinations locked in. That's a big early tell of how this fight can go. Dio working the 1-2s. EnerTayner saying, yeah, show some respect. Now, what's cool about EnerTayner here, he's going to put Dio through the paces, but he's got those combinations are right there. Dio has got a taste of really what EnerTayner can bring to this fight.
Yeah, and also this is a great fight for Dio. All right, even if he's not ahead in this match just yet, I do think he's grown a lot in every single one of his ringside appearances, right? And it just goes to show you put the time and effort into anything, practice, 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 you will get better. But right now, Entertainer practicing on that jaw, a little bit of percussion right there.
Absolutely. And it's interesting though, you know what I'm saying? This is what I like about this is that we're going to be able to see what Dio has worked on, like a couple of things we've seen in the chat right now. Dio definitely is keeping his hands a bit low, and normally I would say, hey man, that's a dangerous place to be, but when you really think about it, right, a lot of coaches have said when you're keeping your hands just below the chin, right, they're there protecting the body, and you can bring your hands up really quickly if you're good with hands, right? Shout out to Tay in the chat. Xylo with the roses. Appreciate it. Love the support, man. We're trying to keep the stream alive here. But, you know, we're seeing Dio really stick to the 1-2s, going back to the basics. And this is what I like to see from a new fighter here in Thrill the Fight 2, right? You're not really working on big swings or wild hooks. He's now settling more into, like, trying to work boxing techniques, even if he's not the absolute stronger fighter. And that goes a long way.
I totally agree. So I have, after that first round, probably have Entertainer up ahead there.
Yeah.
But this definitely is still a match well within Dio's range, right? We've seen him throw the kind of shots that get that high damage bar in this game, and that's something that, you know, is a little bit dangerous about the newer fighters, right? They haven't mastered the game yet, and so, you know, what for like someone like Yo Boy, it's a pretty reliable power punch, and you know, you kind of know that that damage is coming. The newer fighters, they can, you know, it's almost like a random lottery ticket. And so like out of nowhere, you get hit with a shot that just like hits everything perfectly and just puts you on the floor. Looks like we got a bit of a controller issue.
Dio, that controller, that's a dead giveaway in VR. VR games. Okay. As soon as that hand starts to stick out in the air, the ether, round number 2 underway. We already know that we've got some VR troubles. Could be a low battery, could be the controller is a little banged up, but right now, round number 2, Entertainer, a little bit of a sparring match here with Dio, going in for the feints. Dio trying to work some techniques. Dio still has a bit of a way to go in the game, but again, this is a low elo match, guys. We do let a lot of new people up in here. Ooh, Dio now firing back.
Low elo is a bit of an understatement, right? Both of these guys are over 1,500, so, which, you know, I would consider, you know, if you're playing this game as someone who's never played VR fighting, right, you pick up Thrill the Fight 2, you know, you go into ranked a couple of times, you know, 1,500 is probably where you're winning about half of your fights, maybe a little bit more. Boom! Entertainer finding the knockdown.
Yeah.
Giving another rude ringside welcome to Dio.
Yeah, no, Dio's been going through the school of hard knocks right now, and I love how generous you are with the ELO rankings. I just barely passed 1,500 the other day, and I'm buns. So, you know, like, it's I like how Sally is giving me. I feel good. I feel good.
Would you say you win about 50% of your fights, or are you a little bit better than that?
I know. I think your assessment is right. I think I've won about 50% of the fights. A little less, though, if I'm being really, truly honest with myself. But me and Dio are kind of in the same range where, and I have the same problem that Clint does, where I can't find the power in the shots, right? Dio's just new to the game. And what I really want to do is I want to, like, really work with Dio. And I think I'm going to be doing that a little bit this week. Entertainer on froze. Entertainer on froze. Oh my God. Entertainer has to get his knockout taken away from him there because that round like literally just ended. But I believe he has the ability to go ahead and show us a repeat performance. Now Entertainer has got to really hustle to get the get back, right? Here we go. Round number 2, the Redux, the remix, right? Dio Hendricks, and again, I like to remind everybody that when you guys sign up, make sure that the colors that you pick for your characters are accurate to your sign-up colors, because they will show through on the graphics. If you change your colors before a fight, there's no way for us to really change that right now, but we're back into the action. Entertainer now going on the offensive, a little bit different from last time, Solly. Now he looks a little bit more eager to get some damage in on the opponent, and the interesting thing about with these restarts is the damage is fresh.
Yeah, and that's the other thing too, is whatever you were doing before doesn't necessarily work, or if it didn't work, right, like you already wasted all that effort. And so it kind of is a bit of a reset. You can either take a break in that, or you can get frustrated. And so it's interesting to see what Entertainer's going to do. The other thing too, I find, is like when something glitchy like that happens, you're much more likely to try to go for the knockdown and make sure that no one has any doubt that you are still winning this match.
100%. And there we go. Entertainer placing the right back in the right order. Up again, 1 knockdown to 0 early on in the round too, so it's looking really good. Now, I really do fully believe that Entertainer has the experience and the ability to end this fight early. Entertainer is just being a good sport right now, giving the new guy Dio a good workout, really letting him feel the full effects of the game. And that's how it is on Sunday nights, man. It's exhibitions. Sometimes we got some new guys coming in here. Xavier, what's good, bro? Jackson War with the follow, appreciate it, bro. Scott saying, definitely Dio should keep his guard up and move around more. So yeah, we were talking about that guard earlier. I want to experiment with this kind of guard a little bit. Instead of keeping the glove so high up and leaving that body open, I want to kind of keep it in the kind of a mid-range area, and then being able to try to react a little bit better with my head movement and as well with my hands. So now that the defense is a little better.
No, I think that's a solid strategy, right? There's something to it. You definitely have to have, good reaction time, and also probably a little bit of good ping. Oh my God, Entertainer just going for the barrage. Left, right, left, right. No anti-spam around to save Dio. Nothing but the clinch there to stop it.
Yeah, 100%, man. It's this man is just punch walking all the way through. Entertainer, different kind of guy now. He's like, look, I'm just going to try to hit him over and over and over. And now, Dio, you are now in a slugfest, my friend. You got to throw hands back. You can't keep taking this damage over and over. Dio looking very hurt.
He's going to adjust the headset there. Entertainer giving him a brief moment of respite. But honestly, you got to give credit to Dio. All those punches from Entertainer, who already got a knockdown earlier, did not knock him down, right? Dio is understanding the defense. And if that's honestly usually the first thing, right? You fight everyone at the highest level, they're going to knock you down. They're going to knock you down a lot. But you're going to figure out eventually, right, if you keep fighting them, how to stay upright, how to get the guard. And once you got that good defense, right, that's your basis to start attacking from. Let's see if Dio figured something out and if he can start countering. Because I think if Entertainer gives him that kind of opening again, he's got to fight back.
Oh, 100%. 100%. Yo, Tay over here dropping the support, man. I got a donuts, got a fitted cap. Hold up, Tay. I didn't even see all this, bro. Hold up now. Tay out here with the game coin. You know what I'm saying? We got the gold box, the silver box. I didn't know we had gold boxing gloves in this boy. Tay with the support, bro. Appreciate it. Xylo in the chat, man. Scott out here saying UFC 300 type of fight, man. Honestly, and it's solid. It's so hilarious to kind of see this. When we were looking at the defense here early on in round number 2, or yeah, we're gonna say round number 2, right? It's like Dio has a golden chin made of solid iron, right? Or Entertainer shots aren't really doing as much damage. And one of the big things in this game right here is figuring out how to do damage, right? That's a big thing to solve. We were trying to ask Void how he gets the damage. Void said, I'm going to keep my competitive angle here. Dio still, though, like you said, just learning the basics. Yeah, and I see that he's, like, having more confidence in his straights, but you see him a bit more hesitant on his hooks, though, right? And that kind of hesitancy is the worst thing you can do. It's better to follow through with the punch, return to the guard, because when you stop halfway through, now you're wide open. It's like just opening out yourself, you know what I mean?
I agree. This is going to be, this is now here he is, right, with the hands down. He feels much more comfortable in this match, and I don't know if it's because he's tired or he's just trying to switch the pace up on Dio. But, not throwing out that big barrage that he was earlier. There's not a lot Dio can do if he is going to get that and not give him any opportunities. So at this point, Dio's now got to learn how to go from the defensive to building his own offense and building his own openings.
Oh, 100%. Scott in the chat says, the Thrill of the Fight 2 should, dang! And down goes Dio Hendricks. Thrill of the Fight 2 should include more shoulder movement. I agree. And in the current PTC, they're actually working on bladed stances, so the game is able to detect which hand is the lead hand, and if your left is in front, it'll blade your stance more to that way, and if you switch to the right being to the front, it'll blade your stance the other way. It's going to do wonders for body shots, right? Because you're going to be able to be not your, if you notice right now, both of the boxers, no matter how much you turn, your abdomen is head is square straight onto your opponent, right? I'm very surprised that more players don't go for body shots because of that, right? The liver is just there.
Right.
You can't blade to hide it and make that liver further away for somebody to catch, right? So we're going to see a lot of good, like southpaw versus orthodox fights matter a lot more coming up. Scott also dropped a little bit of information that we figured out earlier, Solly, that when you're punching people in this game, you got to punch through the person and not graze their chin, right? You literally have to like, and it's very interesting, right? I mean, that's how you got to punch in real life. You don't punch at the person, you punch through them, right? If you're kicking, you don't kick, you don't tap their leg with a leg kick. You're trying to kick the other kneecap, you know? Like, you got to punch through.
Trying to tap it down.
Oh, there we go. Dio hurt. EnerTayner winding
so here's
up.
The thing we've seen, right? Like, EnerTayner's been throwing these rapid punches here and there throughout the match, but the shots from both him and Dio that ring out the most true with the crowd are the big time ones, like you said, those power punches where they really step in, move the head, move the body with it, and I think that's your key right there. If you're looking on how to do more damage, do not just stand still like a tower throwing punches. Like, follow your hands, right? Move with them, bob and weave a little bit.
Yeah.
Even if you don't think it should add power to it, the game is going to recognize it as such.
100%. Mojo in the chat says the game looks a little wonky. Well, welcome to a little something we like to call VR jank. Right. This VR boxing game, Mojo, early access. The game does try its best to track your body movements, but it can only track 3 points: the headset and 2 controllers, right? So the developers and all developers who are making these games are really trying to figure it out. Let's go to the scorecard though real quick. 10-8, 10-7, 20-15. EnerTayner winning that first round. Very clean win from EnerTayner, man. 1 knockdown in that first round, 2 knockdowns in that second round, grand total of 3. But look at the damage. Interesting though, Dio Hendricks picking up the damage. That's why I wanted to see that first round that we never got to finish, right? He only managed to land 300 damage in that round. He more than doubled his damage the second time they fought, right? And he's still maintaining about half the damage the EnerTayner did. That trend did not change. The damage, however, went up, right? So we now see the Dio Hendricks, even though he's new, his damage numbers are going up, bro. So this is a big improvement for him. I'm going to be very interested to see how we can talk to him about his experience so far in Thrill of the Fight too. So fellas, as we like to do, let's go ahead and unmute so I can talk to you guys. I'm going to give EnerTayner that much.
So we're not going to be able to get Dio. He says he's going to a party. So I told him to have fun, but he said thanks for the fight. He enjoyed it, and it was a good game, EnerTayner.
Absolutely. GG's EnerTayner. EnerTayner, where you at, bro?
I'm right here.
Hey, bro. Appreciate you for giving Dio a workout, man. He's a new guy here, new to the game, new to the server. You gave him 3 good rounds. I really felt like you had the ability to like three hit KO him, but you didn't go all aggressive, man. So being that you fought a junior, a new guy, what would be your assessment of your opponent? Any tips you can give him?
Really, I think he should. He's doing pretty good. I mean, I kind of like knew that he was a bit of a beginner, and I had more experience than him. So that's why, like, second round and third round, I didn't really go all out. I was trying to, give him that experience of like what a real pressure fighter is, what a counter fighter is, and how a person uses their combos and how they cut off the ring. So that's what I was trying to like, give him a little bit of a turn, so that way he could like get out of the corner and use the ring to the advantage. But I think a little bit of pointers that I could give him is he should work on setting up the jabs. To use his jabs a lot more. Go to the body, mix it up to the body as well. Don't just go for the head, because if you're just gonna go for the head, you already know like the opponent, if they're good, then they're already gonna know the flaw in your fighting stance. So yeah. I think he should work on combos. Working on his distance, his stance, his range and everything, angles, footwork, head movement. He should add those into his arsenal, and I think he'll be a complete fighter if he trains on those.
Absolutely, man. I think what we need to do with our boy Dio Hendricks, man, if anybody out there wants to work with an absolute new guy, Dio Hendricks is a good prospect to work with. He's still playing the game, still, you know what I'm saying, Still working at it, very new. I think I'm going to be playing some games with him just to help him understand how the damage system works, working on it with the dummy.
Yeah.
I definitely want to see his growth. I will say that this time around, he came in looking different. He at least tried to work on the 1-2s. I was personally saying that he has to have more confidence in his hooks. We were saying, hey, even if you think it's going to miss, bro, still throw that thing because you don't want to stop halfway.
I did see him like second and third round. He was hesitating with his hooks.
Mm-hmm.
That's why I started throwing, hooks to see how his head movement would go, throw jabs and crosses to see how he would react. But I think if he's down to train, I could help him a little bit too. Give him some pointers.
That'd be great.
And
I think you'd be a good person to teach him some of the basics, man. But appreciate you for coming up through. Appreciate you for subbing in for Iron Vitality.
Of course.